Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carl, and we're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And we have the official Shooting Up North tumbler. It's a 30-ounce stainless steel tumbler, a fantastic design, designed by Justin Donay. He did a great job in designing the official Shooting Up North tumbler, 30 ounces, stainless steel, hot and cold drink tumbler. If you want one of yours, if you want to order one of these beautiful tumblers, send me an email at alliancepwnetwork@gmail.com. That's alliancepwnetwork@gmail.com, and I'll send you all the details on how you can order one of these beautiful tumblers. Again, Justin Donay did an absolutely fantastic job, and man, I'm so stoked about this. I'm so stoked about the official Shooting Up North tumbler. It's a great tumbler. Again, 30 ounces, hot and cold. Send me an email, alliancepwnetwork@gmail.com, and I will send you all the details on how you can order one of these beautiful tumblers as well. Great job, Justin Donay. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. The big news. Big news of the day, as you probably already know, the Briscoes signing a long-term exclusive contract with Ring of Honor Wrestling. Myself, I was kind of holding out hope, and I'm sure a lot of you were with me on this one, holding out hope that they would have signed with Impact Wrestling, but unfortunately, that's not the case. The Briscoes signing long-term exclusive deal with Ring of Honor Wrestling. Ring of Honor owner Tony Khan announced during today's Death Before Dishonor media call that JMR Briscoe have signed a new long-term deal with Ring of Honor. So while the Briscoes, though, have signed with Ring of Honor, they are not under contract to AEW. So it's just an exclusive Ring of Honor deal. They won't be on any AEW programming. Just Ring of Honor. It says the Briscoes recently finished up a quick run with Impact Wrestling, and have also worked dates with GCW, HOG, and others, while Ring of Honor has been off the road. They recently dropped the Ring of Honor World titles to FTR. Well, not recently, but they will have a rematch. They challenge FTR at Death Before Dishonor for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team title. So the Briscoes, unfortunately, done with Impact Wrestling, and they've signed long term with Ring of Honor. So you have to think now with the Briscoes out of the picture right now, with Impact Wrestling, and the Good Brothers free agents right now, and they're most likely gone as well. What's the tag team division now? They need to rebuild this tag team division, Impact Wrestling and Impact Wrestling. But before we get into that, actually, I just wanted to point out one more thing. The Briscoes signing the exclusive long-term deal with the Ring of Honor Wrestling, but they're still on the Impact Wrestling roster page. All due respect, big fan of the Briscoes, love the Briscoes, but Impact Wrestling, the Briscoes signing long-term with Ring of Honor, take them off the page. I would have taken them off the page immediately. I would have taken them off the page immediately. I'm not sure what's going to happen now with Ric Flair's last match. I know the Briscoes were taking on the Von Erichs. Briscoes were representing Impact Wrestling. I don't know if they're going to be representing Impact Wrestling anymore, if they're going to be taken off the card, if Tony Khan's going to allow them to wrestle on the card now. But they were representing Impact Wrestling, but I think that's probably going to change. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Khan pulls them off the card, pulls them off the show. We'll see if that happens. I wouldn't be surprised though if Tony Khan does that, and it turns into a Von Erichs versus uh, another team from Impact Wrestling, maybe like Ace Austin and Chris Bay or something like that. But I would have taken them off the roster page immediately. If they're no longer with Impact Wrestling, if they sign an exclusive long-term deal with Ring of Honor, I would have taken them off the page. As of right now, they're still on the Impact Wrestling roster page. I take them off. I would take them off. But anyway, back to the Impact Wrestling tag team division right now, with the Briscoes now gone and the Good Brothers most likely gone. You have to think what's what does the tag team division look like in Impact Wrestling? So as of right now, I think, in my opinion, there's a huge match tonight, and I think there are two fantastic teams, and I think they should be elevated to the top of the Impact Wrestling tag team division. Matt Taven, Mike Bennett taking on Ace Austin and Chris Bay. I think Ace Austin and Chris Bay will make a very, very good team. I haven't seen the match, but I heard the match is absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to that match tonight. But Matt Taven and Mike Bennett also fantastic, fantastic team. They've held tag team titles. I think they do continue to hold some indie titles as of right now. But they're a terrific team. They should be elevated to the top of the Impact Wrestling tag team division, in my opinion. Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, of course, with Honor No More. I'm not sure who wins tonight's match, but I did hear it's going to be actually, I'm kidding. I know who wins the match, but I'm not going to give it away. But I heard it's an absolutely fantastic match. But these two teams could be the cornerstone. Could be the cornerstones of the tag team division now that the Briscoes are gone and the Good Brothers are most likely gone. There are a few other teams actually. When Matt Cardona comes back, the major players, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, they would be they would be a potentially great Impact Wrestling World Tag Team title holders. You look at you have the usual Motor City Machine Guns, great team, and Bandito Ray Horace coming in. They make an interesting team if they want a team Bandito and Ray Horace. But I think Bandito is probably going to come in as an exhibition guy, as is Ray Horace. But they will make a great team. Bandito Ray Horace challenging for the Impact Wrestling Tag Team titles. I think that would be a great addition to the tag team division. They should also look to bring in some indie tag teams as well. There's Davey Vega, Matt Fitchett. There's a Kylon King and Dustin Penner, the Miracle Generation, great young tag team. And there's a tag team that's wrestling right now. I don't know if they're signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I know one of them is actually participating in the G1 on the undercard. He's not in the G1 tournament, but he's participating on the undercard matches. Talk about Royce Isaac, who's participating in the G1 underground matches, and his normal tag team partner Jarrell Nelson. They make up the West Coast Wrecking Crew, and they're a terrific tag team. They had a great match with the Motor City Machine Guns for West Coast Pro recently. I don't know if they're signed to Impact Wrestling or not. I'm sorry, I don't know if they're signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I know they're definitely not signed to Impact Wrestling. I don't know if they're signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling or not, but they would make a fantastic tag team. They would make a fantastic tag team for Impact Wrestling. Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaacs, they work so well together. So that's another team that the Impact Wrestling could be looking at to bring in to help bolster their tag team division. Then you might want to look at, again, another promotion, maybe working with another promotion, bringing in one of their tag teams, like MLW and the Von Erichs, Ross and Marshall Von Erich. Eric, they make a terrific tag team. Without, in my opinion, the best tag team right now in MLW, and they're scheduled to take on the Briscoes. At Ric Flair's last match, and I don't know if that match is going to get canceled or not, because the Briscoes technically supposed to be representing Impact Wrestling. Maybe they'll be representing Ring of Honor now, or maybe Tony Khan will just pull them from the show. But the Von Erichs, look at the Von Erichs. You could bring them in for a run. So there's a lot of options there. But I think that the two teams that should become the cornerstones of the tag team division, I mean, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, they both held the X Division title. It's time to elevate them a little bit. Two teams that I think should be elevated to the top of the tag team division now that the Good Brothers could very well come back, but it's very likely that they're leaving. I would put Ace Austin, Chris Bay, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. I would elevate them to the top of the tag team division. And then again, you have Matt Cardona when he comes back, and Brian Myers. You always have the Motor City Machine Guns there to give terrific matches to will be terrific opponents for any tag team. Mac Taven, Mike Bennett versus Motor City Machine Guns would be a great match. Austin and Chris Bay against the Motor City Machine Guns would be a great match. And again, I would look into bringing the West Coast Wrecking Crew if they're not signed to to New Japan Pro Wrestling, I would definitely consider bringing them in. They're a terrific tag team. They've been a tag team for very very long. They work so well together. I would definitely consider bringing in Jarrell Nelson and Royce Isaac, the West Coast Wrecking Crew. And again, as I mentioned, the Von Erichs. I'm interested to see how they fare. I hope the match with the Briscoes at Ric Flair's last match, the card for Ric Flair's last match. I hope that match actually happens because I really would love to see how they hold up against the Briscoes. I think they're going to do fantastic, but I think having them come in for a run in Impact Wrestling would be terrific as well. You know, a little talent exchange. We could send somebody from Impact over to MLW, and we get the Von Erichs. Also, you know, you got 5150, another great tag team. You have the new Samoan SWAT team, another terrific tag team in MLW. So you got a number of tag teams that could, you know, come over for a bit of a run in the Impact Wrestling tag team division. But again, young tag teams, bringing some indie guys like Davey Vega, as I mentioned, with Matt Fitchett, the besties of the world. And there's the young tag team, Kylon King and Dustin Penner, as I mentioned earlier. They're just a terrific young tag team. Terrific young tag. They're going to be big stars. I would consider bringing them in as well. Then you also have up in Canada, you have TDT, the Tabernacle Team, which is a great team as well. So there's a lot of potentially really good teams out there that Impact Wrestling could bring in to help bolster their tag team division. Now that as I mentioned, the Briscoes are gone, and the Good Brothers look like they're leaving. So these teams would be the teams that I mentioned. I think there's a lot of potential for the Impact Wrestling Tag Team division right now. I mentioned number of teams, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Hopefully. Hopefully, Impact Wrestling will bring in some of these teams, and hopefully they're listening to me and they'll bring in some of these teams. But we'll see. Again, when Matt Cardona comes back, Cardona and Brian Myers would make a great tag team title holders. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of potential out there. But again, one more time, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, ASOS, and Chris Bay, I think should be the two cornerstones right now of the Impact Wrestling Tag Team division. All right. So one MLW note. One MLW. Well, I've already spoke about MLW, but one bit of news from MLW. The MLW National Openweight Championship is going to be defended at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Music City Mayhem. So Davey Richards, the MLW National Openweight Champion, I don't think it's been officially announced by MLW. I don't think the match hasn't happened where Davey Richards defeats, and this is a spoiler here, where Davey Richards wins the national openweight title against Alex Kane. That match actually hasn't been shown yet, but anyway, so MLW regardless is advertising. Davey Richards will be defending the MLW National Openweight Championship on a New Japan Pro Wrestling card against New Japan Pro Wrestling's Clark Connors, and that's going to be an absolutely killer match. That's going to be an absolutely killer match. Just going to check one more time to see if the Briscoes are still on the Impact Wrestling roster page. I would have taken them off immediately, but that's just me. If they're not part of the Impact Wrestling roster anymore and they signed long-term with another promotion, I would have taken them off immediately. Nope, they're still on there. I'm sure they'll be taken off, but if it was me, I would have, if I was Scott D'Amore, I would have had them taken off immediately. But anyway, that's it. That's it for me. I just want to touch base on that. Anything breaks, of course, I'm watching the news, and I'll be back. And don't forget this beautiful, the official Shooting Up North podcast, hot and cold stainless steel tumbler is now available for purchase. Just send me an email at alliancepwnetwork@gmail.com, and I'll send you all the details on how you too can own one of these beautiful, gorgeous tumblers, Shooting Up North tumblers. Again, thank you, Justin Donay, for making a fantastic tumbler, great design. But send me that email. I'll send you all the details. Okay, so again, I'm watching the news. Anything breaks, I'll be back. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.